Joining us now to talk more about 2022 is the Deputy Executive Director of America Rising, Chris Martin. Chris, your reaction to this new polling just out that shows people are really excited about 2022.
They are, and I think this reflects the reality that Joe Biden and congressional Democrats' handling of this border crisis has been an unmitigated disaster. He's been in office for less than 100 days, and he's already managed to undo a lot of the progress made over the previous 4 years to secure the border and stem the flow of illegal immigration. Now we see month after month after month surges in illegal immigration, including thousands of undocumented minors, unaccompanied minors, who are often abused and exploited by sex traffickers and drug cartels. It's an appalling situation.
And they're not even waiting for their first 100 days. They're already talking about packing the Supreme Court. Today they announced they're going to do the Green New Deal, which is $93 trillion over the next 10 years. So they're not trying to slow walk this at all. They're really trying to remake the country pretty fast. And I think that's what's making a lot of voters really excited about 2022, because it's like they didn't sign up for this. Of course, the election was rigged, but they're like, this is crazy. We can't let our country just totally be overrun and become a socialist country.
Well, if there's one thing we know, if we give the Democrats an ounce of power, they'll take it too far, and we're seeing that now. There was also Rashida Tlaib, a congresswoman, a sitting member of Congress, a Democrat, who called to abolish police, not just defund them, but abolish them entirely, abolish incarceration. It's our job as Republicans to recruit good candidates to go out there and promote, policies that most Americans support, like cutting taxes, getting our kids back in schools, and securing our border to make sure our families are safe.
From what you're seeing in your work, what about primary season? Because I think a lot of times people don't really gear up until it's the general. But now we realize if we don't have good candidates in the primaries, we don't have a shot at anything in the general. And President Trump is already endorsing. We've seen all of his endorsements coming out for the people that really have an America First agenda rather than politics first. So how soon do you see things really gearing up for 2022, just because there's so much focus now on the primaries?
I think that things are gearing up now. I think we're going to have robust, healthy primaries across the country. I think that our candidates need to support policies that most Americans agree with. I think we need to be the party of substance, because we can leave all the insanity to the left. They're doing that themselves. We need to focus on policies that people support, like getting our kids back in schools, securing the border, cutting taxes, and making sure that everyone has equal opportunity in this country.
And there's a bigger focus, too, also on the local elections. I think a lot of people didn't really realize just how important state and local elections are in the federal elections when you have presidential elections. And so now we're even seeing with governors, you've got Vernon Jones now announcing that he's going to run in the state of Georgia. You look, there's a lot of encouragement, too, Herschel Walker even to run for Senate in Georgia. So we really are finally seeing almost a holistic approach where now the whole ticket is not just federal tickets versus state tickets. You're having an entire ticket being shaped so people really are motivated from the local, starting with the local, which in many cases is the most important, then moving up to the federal. So how do you see that changing too on this state level?
Well, it's always a good sign during an election cycle when you see a lot of candidates jumping into races from county commission all the way up to Congress. A lot of focus gets put on those top of ballot offices, but oftentimes the biggest impact in people's lives happens at the local level. So it's really encouraging for the Republican Party to see so many candidates jumping in the race, to have these healthy primaries, to have multiple candidates kind of vying for that and trying to figure out who would best represent that district, that city, that county. I think that's a good sign for us in terms of enthusiasm for 2022.
And even seeing Congressman Jody Hice saying he's going to leave Congress and run for Secretary of State of Georgia. So even seeing that transition of like, no, I'm not going to use this seat as like a positioning to try to get a better job. It's like, I'm going to leave this great job and do something for the people of Georgia. So I think people are more motivated. Even midterms is usually a hard time to get people out to vote. But I think we're going to see a huge red wave in that way, just because people are still upset. They have not forgotten the 2020 presidential election. They want to drain that swamp, and they want to make sure if the Democrats have 4 years in control of everything, what is America going to look like? They haven't even had 100 days, and we don't even recognize America anymore.
Well, exactly. It's been less than 100 days, and we're already talking about the Green New Deal being reintroduced today. We're talking about abolishing police, abolishing incarceration. We're seeing the culmination of Joe Biden's open borders agenda, resulting in thousands of migrants flooding across the border every month. The proof is in the pudding. The American people see what's going on. I think you're also going to see a lot more Republicans jump into these races and have their voices heard. I think we'll have a big tent, diverse party in 2022. The gains among Hispanic voters in Florida and in Texas is also a very good sign for us. So across the board, I think it's going to be a great election cycle in 2022.
The Republican Party really is the party of the people now. It's a populist movement that President Trump created. And thanks for the work that you're doing out there, already gearing up for 2022, because pretty much the fate of our country depends on 2022. So keep us posted on what you're doing, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks so much.